The cafe overlooked the biodome gardens of Station Kepler 442, where 1,000 species mingled beneath artificial sunlight. Zintha had chosen a corner table, positioning her mobility chair to face the entrance. Her chromatophores flickered pale blue, a Valkyrie equivalent of nervous sweating. 23 minutes past the scheduled time. He wasn't coming. She'd known it was foolish. Who would want to date someone whose lower appendages hadn't functioned since the accident? The Holonet dating profile had been honest, but honesty and acceptance were different things. Her feeding tendrils curled inward, a gesture of resignation. "Excuse me, miss." Zintha looked up to see a human male tall with kind eyes and the beginnings of gray at his temples. A small human child clung to his leg, no more than 4 standard years old, with wild dark curls and chocolate-stained fingers. "Are you Zintha?" Jacob asked, his translator rendering his words in perfect Valkyrie tonal frequencies. Her chromatophores flashed yes, but Euro brought I'm so sorry I'm late. Jacob pulled out a chair, then lifted his daughter Sophia into the seat beside him. "Emergency at the shipyard ran long, and my sitter cancelled last minute. I should have messaged, but honestly," he ran a hand through his hair, looking genuinely distressed. "I was afraid if I told you I had to bring my kid, you'd think I was making an excuse to cancel." Sophia peered at Zintha with unabashed fascination. "You're purple, and you have sparkles. Sophia, remember what we talked about?" Indoor voice. Jacob's cheeks reddened, a human embarrassment display Zintha had learned about. "If this is too weird, I completely understand. We can reschedule." Zintha's translator chip processed the sincerity in his voice. He'd actually come. Not only that, he was apologizing for being late, not for her condition. Her chromatophores settled into a warm, amber cautious hope. "No, please, stay." She gestured to the chairs with the primary tendril. "Your offspring is ... charming." "I'm Sophia," the little girl announced, pronouncing each syllable with great importance. "I'm 4.5. What's your name? Can you change colors? Can you do purple with green spots?" "Sophia, it's alright." For the first time in months, Zintha felt her feeding tendrils unfurl slightly, almost a smile. "I'm Zintha. I can change colors, yes. Like this." She concentrated, and her chromatophores shifted to display purple with small green dots across her upper carapace. Sophia squealed with delight, clapping her small hands together. "Again, do rainbow." Over the next hour, something unexpected happened. Jacob ordered drinks, tea and coffee for himself, a nutrient suspension for Zintha, and something called chocolate milk for Sophia, which resulted in an even more chocolate-stained child. They talked, not the awkward, dancing around differences conversation Zintha had anticipated. Jacob was a structural engineer, designing expansion modules for deep space stations. He'd been a widower for 2 years, his wife lost to a shuttle accident. He spoke of her fondly, without the crushing grief that might have made Zintha uncomfortable. "And you?" he asked, after Sophia had been distracted by a passing crystalline light. "Your profile said you were a pilot." Past tense. Most beings avoided the topic. Zintha appreciated his directness. "I was cargo runner. There was a malfunction in the artificial gravity grid during a haul. By the time I was found," she gestured to her mobility chair, "my spinal column was severed. Valkyrie neural tissue doesn't regenerate like human tissue can. I'm sorry." Simple words, but his tone carried genuine empathy. "The worst part isn't the chair," Zintha continued, surprised to find herself opening up. "It's how everyone sees me now. I'm not Zintha the pilot anymore. I'm Zintha the damaged one. The one to be pitied. The one who shouldn't expect." "That's stupid," Sophia interjected, climbing down from her chair to approach Zintha's mobility device with unfiltered curiosity. "You have a cool chair. It has buttons and lights. Does it go fast?" "Sophia." Jacob started to intervene, but Zintha's chromatophores had already shifted to surprised pink, then delighted gold. "Very fast," she told the child. "Would you like to see?" What followed was perhaps the strangest, most wonderful first date in station history. Zintha took Sophia for rides through the biodome gardens, the little girl shrieking with laughter as they wove between startled Centaurians and bemused Draconians. Jacob jogged alongside, his laughter mixing with his daughter's, his earlier stress melting away. When they finally returned to the cafe, breathless and happy, Sophia had fallen asleep against Zintha's shoulder, one small hand clutching a feeding tendril like a security blanket. "I should get her home," Jacob said softly, carefully extracting his daughter without waking her. "This was not at all what I planned." "No," Zintha agreed, her chromatophores swirling with contentment blue and hope amber. "It was better." Jacob smiled, that peculiar human expression that somehow conveyed more than any color change. "I'd like to do this again." Maybe next time with less chocolate and more actual conversation. I would like that. Zintha paused, then added, Your daughter is remarkable. She sees beings, not limitations. She learned that from watching her mother. Jacob's expression turned thoughtful. Sarah always said that humans survived because we adapted. We didn't just adapt our environment, we adapted how we saw challenges. A broken ship wasn't broken. It was a puzzle. A disability wasn't an ending. It was a different path to the same destination. He shifted Sophia in his arms, then met Zintha's eye stalks directly. You're not damaged, Zintha. You're just flying a different ship now. Still the same pilot. As they exchanged contact codes and made plans for a second date, Zintha realized something profound. She'd spent months being defined by what she'd lost. But humans, these strange, resilient, adaptable creatures, had a gift for seeing what remained, for finding beauty in reconfiguration rather than destruction. Jacob and Sophia disappeared into the station's crowds, and Zintha sat alone again at her corner table. But this time, her chromatophores glowed brilliant gold, the Valkyrie color of Joanne, for the first time since the accident. She felt like she was flying. The human had seen her, not the chair, not the paralysis. Herdot and his daughter had taught her that sometimes the most profound wisdom comes from those who haven't yet learned what limitations are supposed to mean.